cover up the incapacity of a president, a political non-starter, and the latest escalation of his attacks on President Joe Biden and the change atop the Democratic ticket. If you do that with a cover-up of the President of the United States, it's grounds for impeachment immediately and removal from office, because that's what they did, Trump said during a campaign rally in Wisconsin. In the wake of Biden's poor June debate performance and his decision to end his presidential campaign a month later, Trump and his Republican allies have accused Kamala Harris and top Democrats of covering up a decline in president's mental fitness. The Harris campaign declined to comment on Trump's remarks on Saturday. So this is just, and I've seen Mike Johnson, Mr. right-wing radical Christian, he's been talking about this. As a matter of fact, as soon as it happened, he had a press conference on some of the options that they may take, including lawsuits to somehow put a wrench in this whole thing. Look, like I said, the elections are changing. Kamala Harris is rising. Things are happening the Democrats' way. Republicans are freaking out. Get ready. Look, I'm going to give a warning here. Get ready for October, because the more the polls change, the more donations come in, the more people support Kamala Harris, the more Republicans that support Kamala Harris. The Republican Party and Donald Trump are going to become desperate. They're going to be doing some huge, disgusting things. They're going to do whatever they can to get that orange gloom and doom, orange buffoon into the White House. It's going to happen. It's disgusting. It's revolting. It's repugnant. And they're going to do whatever it takes. That's an example. They're going to try this. I mean, look at North Carolina right now. They're filing a lawsuit. Early voting in North Carolina. They're already filing a lawsuit because JFK's name is still on the ballots. And that was supposed to be taken off. I thought that whole thing was a conspiracy to begin with, and they knew that this was going to be an issue. So this is what they're already starting the election with, is this. Just the beginning, folks. Once again, a warning, a dire warning. Get ready for October. If you think this is bad, and remember this video, because it's going to get worse. But on some good news, ABC News was reporting, and a lot of other people, and you probably already know this, big-name Republican endorsers of Vice President Kamala Harris are testing just how many disgruntled GOP voters are up for grabs in her race against a polarizing former President Donald Trump. Former Wyoming Representative Liz Cheney, a member of pre-Trump GOP royalty, became the latest and most prominent Republicans to back Harris Wednesday. Harris also has endorsements from former Representative Adam Kinzinger, a Republican from Illinois, and hundreds of local Republican officials to try to puncture what her campaign views as Trump's soft underbelly with Republican voters who are uncomfortable with the former president's brash and unorthodox brand of politics. The campaign's consistent outreach is just one part of Harris's overall path to Election Day. But now, with no bigger names left on the table to support, the vice president will likely find out that there's more support to be had from dissatisfied Republicans, or if she's already maxed out. So that's just more good news for Harris, and it just keeps growing each day. And you know what helps this all out? Is the more that Donald Trump talks, the more he goes to these rallies and is so psychotic and radical and disgusting, he will help Kamala Harris, because he does every day. Once again, let him keep talking. The less he talks, the campaign loves it. They would like him just go out there as a mute. Just go out there and just say, hi, everybody. Oh. So that's never going to happen. That will never happen. Okay, what we're doing is we're doing some live videos, and we're setting up the studio, so that's why there's a lot of, not really a lot, but there's some little glitches, and we're kind of working out things. So we're going to try to take a phone call here, and this will be up to me. So what I'm going to do, and sorry for this, but I'm doing this while we talk, and I can't do that because I'm recording. All right, so we're going to try to take some calls here. Actually, I have something showing that a mega caller would like to teach us about healthcare. Hello, how can I help you?
I wanted to call in just because I wanted to share that I agree with President Trump about getting rid of Obamacare, because I think it's a waste of money. I think it's a waste of government funds, and all Obamacare does is it gives to the illegals and the people that are on some kind of communist social assistance programs, and that's all it was made for.
Actually, that's not all it was made for, and millions of Americans are still using it, and they still enjoy it. It's still going strong, but go ahead.
Now, I do like the American Care Act. As a matter of fact, I'm on that. I think that's great. And Donald Trump said he's going to improve our MET and make it something where it turns into some kind of private entity where it'll even be better, because the American Care Act is good, but it still has a little bit of socialism, communism in it. So that's not good. But it's good for now, because I think it's a good start. So he did a good job on that. And I think Trump is on the road to improving it. He had some great ideas of getting some private companies in it, so they'll make it better.
So I'm a little confused. You don't like Obamacare, but you like the American Care Act. Is that what you're saying? I'm not exactly sure what you're saying, because that's
private industries. The companies, they make things better because there's profit involved, and then there's competition to make prices go down, and things get better with competition, and just the corporations take care of us, let me put it that way. But as far as Obamacare, that's a socialist, it's a communist kind of a program, and it was intended just to help the people that shouldn't have it. These illegals are all on it. They get appointments at the...
Well, I want to say... I want to kind of have you elaborate on this, because we appreciate you calling on teaching us about healthcare. So what are you talking about?
At the hospitals, quicker than we do. They're a priority because they're on this socialist, communist Obamacare. We've got to get rid of that. I agree with Donald Trump. It's got to be you've got to get rid of it. It should have never been voted on. And from what I understand, we've never voted on it. It was just something that the socialist, communist Democrats put in place, and it was we never got rid of it.
So you're saying that I'm still a little bit confused on where you're coming from. You said that none of Americans agree with Obamacare. We should have gotten rid of it, but
Donald is going to get rid of it. He is going to continue this American Care Act. He's done a good job with that when he was president. That's why he didn't get rid of that, because he knew millions of us are on that, and we don't want that gotten rid of. And he promises when he gets back in office, which he will, that he's going to make it better. He's going to take care of it. He's going to improve upon it. He's going to prioritize and privatize it. It's going to be just amazing, and I can't wait for that. Any kind of improvement on it I'm all for. But the socialist, communist Democrats are preaching about this ridiculous Obamacare, this socialist communist program that's illegals and people that are on food stamps and sucking the government dry, and all of us taxpayers are having to pay for it. It's so disgusting.
So I'm trying to still, I don't understand. You're saying that Obamacare...
Stop pushing this Obamacare narrative. Get rid of that stupid program. Let's continue with this amazing American Care Act, improve upon it, privatize it, prioritize it, and basically sanitize it, if you will. It's an amazing thing, and I think we're going to do a great job with it. Chubb, you're going to do a great job.
Okay, I got to stop this. Obamacare is American Care Act. That's what it is.
Come on, you've got to be kidding. Those are not the same thing. Look it up. Fake news, once again. It's bubbling out of your mouth. It's all fake. You're in your own world. Stop it with this nonsense. Stop telling people this horrible lie. It's not. Obamacare is a disaster. It always has been a disaster. It's not the same. Look it up on...
Obamacare is...
Truth
the American
Social.
Care Act.
Look it up on
Obamacare
X,
is,
and make sure you get the right information on. You're going to get the right information on Truth Social. That's where I get all my news. That's where it all comes from. That's where the facts are.
I'm at a loss here. I mean, Obamacare is the American Care Act.
Yeah. You've got to be kidding about these. Obamacare is a disaster. The American Care Act is amazing. What is wrong with you? Stop lying to your listeners. I mean, this is a disgrace what you're saying. It's just a disaster.
So you're saying you're on the American Care Act. That means you're on Obamacare. That's what you are.
On you. You're not getting anywhere with this. It's just, it's becoming an insane conversation. I don't doubt it. You libtard, liberal disaster of a radio show are now just flat out lying to the American people, to your listeners, and to a very small number of us that just listen to you to straighten out to you with the facts.
So I gave you this time to do something and say something.
Stop it with the nonsense. Stop it with the lies. Get the facts.
Wow,
Go
this
to
is
Truth
scary.
Social.
I hope this is a joke.
Listen to the great Donald Trump. Here's so much he can do for this country. I'm so frustrated. I'm so aggravated. I'm so irritated that each and every time he does something for this country, says something for this country, he does knock it down like it's lies, like it's some kind of conspiracy theory. He has so many. How did he become a billionaire? How in the hell did he become a billionaire? By just doing nothing and lying like he does all claims.
His dad, that's how he became a billionaire. And he bankrupted a casino.
He has built the skyline of New York. Look at all those buildings that they all are Trump. He has casinos all over the place.
This has got to be a joke.
He is a businessman. He knows how to make decisions. He knows how to make calls. He knows how to lead. He knows how to run a country. He's done it before for 4 years. He had the best economy ever in the history of presidents. He knows how to communicate with other world leaders. He had such a great rapport with all the world leaders. He told these people, they knew where he stood. They were in line. They got tip-top ship shape when he was a president because they knew that he's not screwing around. Putin knew where he stood. He ended up getting over there to North Korea and straightening out little Kim Jong-un. And Kim Jong-un shook his hand. The first U.S. president, he knew where Donald Trump spent. He never did a thing when Donald Trump was in office. And then all of a sudden, crooked Joe Biden, he ended up coming back, and now look at Kim Jong-un threatening with nuclear weapons each and every time.
This is really scary. It really is. You guys, I don't even know what to say about this.
Get the facts, please, people. This is my opportunity to tell you, go to Truth Social, get all the facts. That's where everything is. It's an amazing app. You guys will... it'll blow you away, the facts that are out there.
Do you guys do you realize that you're in a cult? Listen to yourself.
Stop putting this information out there that Obamacare is great and the American Care Act is horrible. It's not. It's the exact opposite. Let's grow the American Care Act. Let's put an end to Obamacare. It's as simple as that.
So it sounds like you really believe what you're saying. I don't know what to say.
Listen, people. You can make a difference. I'm begging you. In November, you've got to vote for Trump because that's the only way we're going to be able to save this country. Just like he says at all their rallies, he's giving us a red flag warning. He's telling us, he's begging us that if we don't do something, if we don't vote for him, this world is going to explode, and I believe him.
Okay, we got to wrap this up. Just finish this up because I can't take this anymore.
If he gets into office, this world is going to be such a peaceful place. It's going to be such a wonderful place.
Can you hear me?
It's going to be such an amazing world. It's going to be an amazing universe. He's got things planned for space. He's got so many things planned for space. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing universe.
All right, we got to wrap this up. Just finish this thing up. Come on.
Tell your people to please wise up and vote for Trump in November. That's the only way we're going to win.
You got to really get a grip and look at some facts. I mean, that's
it's
all
obvious
I can say.
I'm getting nowhere with you. You're not listening. You're just repeating the same thing over and over again. I'm over this. I'm done.
Thank you.
You're hopeless. All I can do is hope and pray that your listeners are listening to me instead of you. And I hope they get the facts by going online and really getting the real news. But the bottom line is Obamacare needs to go away, just like Trump said. Keep the American Care Act and privatize it, and then we will be better.
All right. I appreciate your feedback. That's the only time I can give you.
It's just the start. That's all it is.
Oh, God.
And he's got so many ideas from that. That's all I can say. Thank you for giving me the time.
Holy macro. That had to have been a joke. I can't believe. But you know what? I see some footage from some of these rallies, and I see some interviews that people do before and after the MAGA go into these rallies. And it really is scary that people think exactly like what this guy did. And I've heard this before, but I heard it early on when people would say, you know, Obamacare is horrible. I love American Care Act. This was happening in 2016 when a lot of these fools didn't realize it was the same thing. But it's 2024 now. Are there really still MAGA people out there that think the American Care Act is not Obamacare and that Obamacare is for what he said, illegals getting free? They think, and I'm guessing they're told the narrative is that Obamacare is for black and brown people. It's for low-income white people. It's for people that are sucking the country dry and that don't work and sit at home all day. That's what they're saying Obamacare is for. Obamacare, also known as the American Care Act, millions and millions of people are using it. And why am I even preaching this? If people don't understand this now, I do remember early on at some of Donald Trump's MAGA rallies, he would say, we are going to end Obamacare, and they would chant, end Obamacare, end Obamacare, and then they would look and say, wait a minute, isn't Obamacare the American Care Act? And then they would stop, because a lot of them were on it, and they liked it. A lot of them are still on it, and they still like it. The American Care Act is one of the best things that Obama did for this country. And Donald Trump has said year after year, we're going on 10 years, that he's going to replace it. He has made that promise in 2016. What did he do in that 4 years? He's kind of making that statement now, but he knows it's too late. That so many people are on it, if you even screwed around with that. But who knows if they get into office what they're going to do. If they have control, there's no limit to what they're going to do. But anyways, I'm having a hard time believing that call was actually true, but it's a scary thing. And Donald Trump thinks that he is just some kind of incredible person to come up with the way he's able to get MAGA to follow him. And he loves the way they treat him like a cult leader. What he's doing is nothing new. It's been done decade after decade after decade. It's the dictator playbook. It's so simple. There's so many dictators that are still using it today, and he did it. And basically what it is, everybody knows what it is. First, you start putting out a bunch of propaganda and lies out there. Then you start getting the poorly educated and the uninformed to start absorbing those lies. And then once you get a big enough crowd, you start having these rallies where you get them all together and then you start gaslighting them. It's like hypnosis. You keep saying the same thing over and over again. The world is going to end. The economy is going to go down the tubes. We're going to get into a depression. The world's going to explode. We're going into World War III. You say the same thing over and over again. And then once you get this big enough crowd, you also turn them against the media, because in most cases the media holds him liable for all his lies. So he can't keep lying if the media calls him on it. This happens everywhere. I mean, even still now, look at Russia. You have these reporters that will put a story out about Putin, and oh gee, a plane crashes. Another reporter says something, oh gee, for some reason he jumped out of a building. These are dictator moves. Get the poorly educated, gaslight them, turn them against the media, and then once you have that, it's called divide and conquer. You have a big enough crowd, and then you start dividing the country. The people that are not going to take his baloney, and then the people that have fully absorbed all his gaslighting information and are officially in the cult. That's what Donald Trump's doing. It's nothing new. It's nothing like something came up with. Hitler did it, and look at what happened there. History, I guarantee you, is going to go down as Donald Trump and the MAGA party is going to be a huge disappointment for the for the United States. History books are going to show that just like when Hitler had control over Germany, you stop and think, how did so many people believe him? I even remember that as when I was in school in the history books, and we would learn about Germany, World War II, and Hitler. I always thought, even as a child, I thought, how can one man have so much control over such a large amount of people? Them all going to the rallies and shouting, "Hi, Hitler!" And I just never understood, how can one person have such control over these people? And then the same thing now is happening, and now I realize I can see what happens. You get the uninformed and the poorly educated, and you can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. He continues to lie about everything. He can go to every rally and make every kind of promise he wants. He did it in 2016. Most of the stuff he promised didn't happen. Where's the wall? And did Mexico pay for it? Never happened. Overturn Obamacare. Never happened. I can go on and never. He is going to say whatever it takes to get into office. I'm not going to just keep repeating myself. He's a disgusting idiot, and I firmly believe he's not going to get into office. I strongly believe that America has learned its lesson and smart enough. If we haven't, and I've said this over and over again, if we have not learned our lesson, we deserve what we get. So with that in mind, watch this.
Look, child care is child care. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly.
Welcome to the Donnie T Show. All facts, no lies, that's how we go.
Hello, my little slutball whoremongers. That's my little pet name I give my poorly educated cult members, so don't worry about it. Well, anywho, I wanted to address the interview regarding the topic of childcare. There was a lot of backlash and bad press from the fake news corrupt media, stating that there was a lot of babbling and claiming there was nothing said. It was a fabulous speech, a great speech, the best speech. I know all about childcare. I'm the best at childcare. Nobody knows childcare better than me. I'm the best at childcare. I'm a leader, a brilliant child. I'm a leader of a brilliant childcare leader. So, the reply to the childcare question was amazing. Some would say it was incredible. World leaders told me it was the best childcare speech that they ever heard. Check this out and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about.
If you win in November, can you commit to prioritizing legislation to make childcare affordable? And if so, what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
Well, I would do that, and we're sitting down. You know, I was somebody, we had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that, because look, childcare is childcare. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers that we're talking about, including childcare, that it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time, coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all of the other things that are going on in our country. Because I have to stay with childcare. I want to stay with childcare, but those numbers are small relative to the kind of economic numbers that I'm talking about, including growth, but growth also headed up by what the plan is that I just told you about. We're going to be taking in trillions of dollars, and as much as child care is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kind of numbers we'll be taking in. We're going to make this into an incredible country that can afford to take care of its people, and then we'll worry about the rest of the world. Let's help other people. But we're going to take care of our country first. This is about America first. It's about make America great again. We have to do it because right now we're a failing nation. So we'll take care of it. Thank you.
I'm sure you're impressed. Kamikaze, communist, comrade, Allah would never reply and give a brilliant speech like that. It was incredible, unpredictable, sensational, and exceptional. The fake news media didn't know what they were talking about. That child care speech will go down in history as the best speech of all speeches. So when you vote in person, not by fake mail, remember, I made that speech. Vote for me, the best president ever.
You strut around like you own the place, but baby, you can't keep up with the pace. Moving in the wrong direction, all lost in your own reflection. Was hurt when you're so wrong. Ooh yeah, yeah. Live the life like a misguided song. You're tripping over what you thought was true. Now you got the blues. Oh baby, you do.